Hi, let's pick it up from there. And we're now going to do an example of how to find the gradient of the curve at a given point. Okay, or more accurate, we're going to try to see how can we come up with an expression that can give us the gradient of a line at a given point. So here is what it is. So the way it works is like this, okay? Given that I've got a function, okay, I'm going to call this function x. So this function x, for example, could be something like 2x squared plus x minus 2, as an example, okay? So the way it is how do I find the gradient? How do I find gradient? Okay. So the solution to this is what you do is find you have to find an expression. Okay, an expression. You have to find an expression that can calculate the gradient. Okay. Okay, so find that expression that you want. Think, okay, once I come up with this, it can help me find the gradient. But you don't just find it anyhow. There's a way that you have to do it. Now, how given such kind of an equation, how do you go about finding the expression that can help you get that gradient? So, step one. Okay, I'm going to try to break this into steps. So, step one is um, you have to assume that we are going to somehow add, okay, add a small margin, okay, a small margin, okay, add a small margin to x, okay. So what is that small margin? We're going to call this small margin as we're going to refer to this as the change, okay, change in x, okay, delta x, okay. So in that case, what's going to happen is since we have got a function, okay, then there's going to be a change in this function. Since you know when you have a function, I'll take you back to this, okay. Do you know that when you have got a function like this, okay, for example, x is equal to let's say 2x, yeah? How do you deal with this? If someone tells you to say, okay, x is 2, what do? You simply come and say, okay, function of 2 is equal to, so you replace here where there's this x here, where there's this x, you replace it with the 2. So all you do is just say 2 here multiplied by the x to take up the 2 here. So the x now becomes 2. So you compute this becomes what? 4. If someone says, okay, x is 1.5, the only thing you do is you just say f of 1.5, okay, is equal to 2, and then you say here 1.5, okay, then this is going to give us 3. If someone tells you to say, okay, for now, my x is x plus 0.2, okay, if someone says now the x now is x plus 0.2, what is f of x? All you do is just say, remember the principle here, if someone says this is my x is now x plus 0.2, what we do is you just replace where there is x, replaced by the given x. In our case, sorry, the given x is x plus 0.2. So we can do the same thing where we say where there is x, we replace it by x plus 0.2. So this is going to become, it's going to become, so f of x is going to be, so f of x plus 0.2 is equal to 2 multiplied by, so x is going to multiply by x plus 0.2. In this case, it becomes, so 2 times x is 2x plus 0.4. If you multiply 2 by this 0.2 here, that becomes the new value of, so this becomes the new function of x. Now, if you can apply the same thing here, so you can assume that this 0.2 I added is equal to this small margin I'm going to add to x, okay? So what we can say here is that if I have this. Okay, if I have this expression, I have now to find the new expression, because in my case, I'm going to go to step 2. Okay, what is step 2? Remember, in this case, x has now changed, has become now x plus delta x. Okay, so where there is x, I should now replace with the delta x. So what do I do? In step 2, what I'm going to do is replace x with the x plus okay, delta x, like this. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So how do I do this here? So I'll do the replacement. So it follows like this. I'm going to say function of x. Okay, function of x is this. Now in this case, I'm not going to say function of x, since I'm saying I'm going to replace where there is x here. I'll replace with it this expression here, the x plus delta x. So I'll say this becomes x plus delta x, like this. Okay, and then I'm going to say is equal to. So the same thing here, I have got to be replacing what is x. I should replace x with it, x plus delta x. So I'm going to say it's 2. So this 2 here, I'm going to write it here. The x squared, this x squared here, I'm going to, so where there is x, remember, I'll replace with it x plus delta x, and then I say squared plus. Remember again this x here, so where there is x, I'll replace with it x plus delta x. So I'm going to say x plus delta x here, then minus 2. This is a constant here, so I don't have to do anything on that. Okay, then let's proceed now. What is step number 3? So step number 3, you have to remember that saying something like, let me give this example here. Okay, let me give it here. So the way I was saying here, like I gave this example, I said f of x is equal to x. Okay, I might as well write this as y is equal to 2x. In short, this is representing what? Is representing y. Okay, so even here, what I can do is I can apply the same principle here. So where I was saying f of x, I can replace this with the y. Now, since here it's not just like f of x, okay, because to the x I've added a small margin here. Now, if you go back to what we discussed earlier on, we're saying if you add a small margin on x, like x plus delta x, then that change like this results into also a small margin on the value of y. So it becomes y. Okay, if this was the actual y, it now becomes y plus. Okay, it becomes now y plus delta y. So in this case, what we are going to do is, as a step number 3, we simply say, let's simplify it where we just say you have to replace this. Okay, replace what we are referring to as f of x plus this with, what are we going to replace this with? So we are going to replace this with y plus delta y. Why are we doing this? If we didn't have the delta x, we could have just replaced it with the f of, we could have just replaced it with y only. Okay, yeah. So what about this? Okay, so like I was saying, if we didn't have, I think I'll remove some things. Yeah, so it's supposed to be delta x. Okay, so I was saying, if we didn't have, okay, so let me just write this again. Okay, so we are going to replace f of x plus delta x. We're going to replace this with y plus delta y. So in this case, we're going to rewrite this equation, and so we remove this. Instead, we put y plus delta y is equal to, so this is going to be the same thing will come here now. So this is 2x plus delta x, then this is squared plus x plus delta x minus 2. Okay, so like this. So having come this far now, the next step is kind of straightforward. Okay, so you can say step number 4. Step 4 is where you say now simplify this. Okay, simplify. So how do you go about simplifying this? Okay, so for the sake of keeping this video not too long, I'm going to break it here. Then see me in the next video as we now proceed with simplifying this expression.